just here answering any kind of autograph or fan mail questions that you guys might have regarding upcoming signings or how to do fan mail, anything like that. Love to know if anyone has any autographs in their collection that they have gotten over the years, or any celebrity encounters that they've had. I always like to hear what your guys' interactions are. Just going over any kind of questions you guys have. I know there's a number of autograph signings that are coming up in the near future, some big name celebrities. Ewan McGregor just got done at Star Wars Celebration, but he's coming to my town in San Antonio. He's going to be doing a signing there. Also, Paul Bettany is going to be in town as well. There's an upcoming signing for Elizabeth Olsen. Yesterday, Andrew Garfield was just announced. So there's a lot of signings going on right now. So if you have deep pockets, it's a good time for you. If you're on a budget like me, then maybe not so good. Sad times. Wish I could do them all. Let's see. Got to meet Mike Trout out of baseball game and got autographed. Yeah, so baseball games are pretty good. I've done hockey games before when I used to live in California. Sometimes I'd go to see the San Jose Sharks, and you can go like before the games or to practices and stuff. You can get like pucks. Same thing with baseball. Get baseballs signed. Baseball games are great. I'm in San Antonio now, and of course the Spurs, the basketball team, are a huge thing. So people will go, and the team usually stays at like one specific hotel here in town. So a lot of autographers will go wait out outside the hotel for the players to come out, and I've got some buddies who've had some pretty good luck with that. So yeah, sports are great. It's pretty fun. I'm concentrating more on the celebrity autographs myself, but those are a great time too. Oh, cool. It was at a minor league game before he became big and famous. That's good. I mean, I think for celebrities, that's how you want to do it, right? Before they get too crazy big. That's the best time to contact them, because once they're A-list celebrities, I mean, that just makes the process a whole lot harder, right? How many autographs do I have framed? I don't have a whole lot of autographs framed. I mean, you can see some behind me. These are mostly music autographs. So I got Alkaline Trio, Tegan and Sarah, some, Camila Cabello, Gwen Stefani. And then I got on the walls, I got a couple Star Wars autographs, but I try and not frame a lot of them. Most of them are in portfolios or binders, because I just don't want the ink to fade. Once you expose them to light, even though I have UV glass on all of them, they don't block all of the light, even, not just from the sun, even from strong light bulbs. Any kind of light exposure can fade the ink. So if you have it displayed for a number of years, eventually the signature will get harder and harder to see. After a number of years, it can even get to the point where it's no longer even legible. So that's why I choose, for the most part, not to display most of my autographs. So you've written to Stephanie Beatrice before. Yes. Could I still write to her or not anymore? So so when I wrote to Stephanie Beatrice, who is one of the voice actors for in Encanto, she was on the West End, so that's like the UK equivalent of Broadway, and she was doing a play there, and unfortunately that run is over. So the address that I used for her is no longer valid, but that doesn't mean that you can't write to her anymore. In fact, she's currently doing a movie, I believe. So she's should be, I think that's in production right now. But yeah, you can still write to her via Venue, or you can write to her at any time via her agency. So it's not too late to write to her, but you can't use the exact same address that I sent to her. So still possible. Let's see. What is the rarest autograph that I have? So I mean, rarity. So I mean, I have like some rare autographs, but I mean that doesn't necessarily equate to like necessarily high value. Like I have some stuff that um, I like video games, and when I was a kid, I played the NES a lot, and there were some children's books out at the time based on Mario and the characters in there, and I have some of those signed by like the author and illustrator and stuff. And I mean, I would be surprised if anyone else had these books signed. Like at the time when I sent him, like the author said that he had never seen the actual physical book. Like he just sent him the stuff and it got published and he never got a copy. So I mean, that's pretty rare, but it's not necessarily super valuable. So hopefully that answers your question there. Let's see. Any artists that do through the mail signings? Yeah, I mean, there's tons. So I mean, you can look through my profile, and I have like a whole bunch of videos on. Like I've been doing Magic the Gathering artists. You're probably familiar with the trading card game, and so like that was just like the recent set that came out. The one before last, it was Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and I just like picked up like 3 packs of the cards. I randomly I went through like every single card in there, like basically reached out because like on each card it had the bottom it says who the artist is that did the art for the card, right? So then I went to Google their name, found either like their DeviantArt or their personal website or whatever, and I looked for their contact info, and then I basically reached out to probably like 40 artists and asked if they do signings through the mail. Some I got a reply from, and for I would say probably about maybe like 7 or 8 people replied to me. Some of them were willing to do it for free. Usually, like for artists, I mean, I don't think anyone asked for more than $2 per signature per card. So, yeah. So I sent out to a whole bunch of people there, and that was just like random people from packs of Magic cards that I opened. So I mean, go to the comic store, pick up a comic book, and see who the cover artist is or the illustrator who inked it. Look them up and then reach out to them. I mean, that's the best way. Just reach out to these people. I mean, especially for artists, they're super accessible. So a lot of times they are willing to sign the stuff that you send them. And if they have a signing fee, a lot of times they don't, but if they do, it's usually very reasonable. Like, $2 per signature. I mean, something like that. Like, with there's like Elizabeth Olsen signing coming up. She's charging like $300 per signature. So I mean, it's quite different from the celebrity world when you're dealing with artists. Artists can be a very, very affordable way of collecting autographs, and it's pretty fun. Any Marvel actors you send out to recently or will in the near future? So yeah, I'm always trying for Marvel actors. They're definitely, I mean, it's like probably the most popular movie franchise out there. So I mean, they're hard for sure. And if you're writing them to their agency, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of luck. However, I always try and do via venue. So while they're at a movie set, something like that. Recently, so if you guys are watching the Disney Plus Marvel movies and TV series, rather, Miss Marvel is coming out like I think in a couple days, like maybe a couple weeks, definitely this month. Miss Marvel's coming out, and that's played by Iman Vellani. So when that was being filmed, it was being filmed in Georgia, actually. I wrote to the set, I wrote to Iman, and she signed 3 of the index cards that I sent to her, front and back, with a nice note on them. So that was pretty cool, because you can see that, like, I think she signed front and back. It seemed to me that she was practicing her autograph and trying to kind of get it down. Because, I mean, she had, like, this is like her first role ever. So at the time I wrote her, I mean, that was like, she probably had only signed maybe, probably less autographs than she can count on, both her hands. So that was pretty cool to see. So Iman Vellani was recent success. And then the other Marvel recent success I got was David Harbour, who I also wrote via a movie set. So he was in Canada filming a movie called Deadly Night, I believe. Yes, I think so. But it's a Christmas movie. It's coming out, I guess, later this year for the holiday season. So those are two recent Marvel successes that I've gotten. Ken Hack is asking, said I tried sending to Iman at Trilith during reshoots, but got returned to center, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's where I sent it. And yeah, mine got through, luckily. So sorry to hear that you didn't have success, but yeah, thank you for the congratulations on that. Scarlet Witch is asking, any more news about the Love and Death trailer? Yeah, so asking about Love and Death trailer because I was an extra on the show, and I've been following the production. So production wrapped, in March, I think. But I've heard nothing about a trailer. They haven't released anything. I mean, the HBO has been have their lips sealed about it so far. I heard from somebody on the crew that they were expecting the show to release in October. So, I mean, the best estimate is, sometime between now and October. Unfortunately, I don't know when the trailer is going to drop. Like the HBO so far, they've released about 3 still shots from the series and a 3-second clip of Elizabeth Olsen. So, yeah, we'll see when we get closer if, how long it's going to take them to do the trailer. So, sorry I can't give you more information on that. No more insight. Okay, so I think there's some more questions here. Okay, Joe is asking what Star Wars actors send back autographs. Yes, what actors usually send autographs through the mail for free. So, I mean, there's really there's a lot of people related to Star Wars, and I'd say probably half of my collection is just Star Wars, and doing it through the mail autograph collecting used to be super rich for Star Wars. It used to be a ton of people who were still doing it when I started, which was probably about 15 years ago. And now a lot of the older people, I mean, we got a lot of the actors, dying now at this point. So a lot of people have even passed away. But a lot of the people who used to be really, staple signers aren't doing it anymore. But as far as actors, I mean, the one that, of course, off the top of my head, Clive Revel, who plays Emperor Palpatine. He's the original Emperor Palpatine before Ian McDiarmid was put into the role for the special editions. He's a really great signer. He's probably the best signer through the mail, period. I mean, regardless of being in Star Wars, he's just super good with his fans. So, yeah, if you're going to reach out to somebody, Clive Revel would probably be where I start. But on a lot of these, Disney is churning out these Star Wars properties pretty darn quick. And if you look at a show like Obi-Wan, while you might not be able to necessarily get Ewan McGregor through the mail, there's a bunch of auxiliary actors who have more minor roles that you can just look up on IMDb and try reaching out to them, and I bet you a lot of them are going to respond to your fan mail. So I've seen people getting autographs back from a lot of on Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian, the Tusken Raiders, those kind of people. A lot of them will sign for you, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, let's see. My charity needs help reaching out to celebrities. What is the cheapest way for me to get addresses? Yeah, so I mean, charities are actually a really good way to get autographs. Sometimes people will, the celebrities will not sign through the mail, unless it's for a charity. So yeah, if you are doing some charity work, this process is basically the same, right? So you can go to talesfromthecollection.com and /addresses, and that tells you all about how to find the contact information for celebrities or really anyone, artists. It pretty much works for regardless of what your profession is. It just tells you how to get the fan mail addresses and all that kind of stuff. So you would want to find their contact information and let them know what it is you're trying to do, what charity you're representing, what you're asking them for. Now, there's a good example that I can think of off the top of my head of somebody getting something for a charity that was like a really cool response was from Jason Alexander, who plays George on Seinfeld. Someone who was doing a charity fundraiser just like you're doing for their like volunteer fire department. They asked for some donations because they were doing charity auctions just like you were doing. And Jason was kind enough to not only send a signed photo, but he also sent his personal script that he used for one of the episodes of Seinfeld. It had like liner notes in the margins for like how he was going to do the scenes and all that, and he signed the script. It was for the episode the parking garage, which is like it's like the episode where they get lost in this parking garage. Like the whole episode is spent in the garage. It's kind of like a what memorable episode. And so he gave that to the charity for free. Unfortunately, I think they kind of squandered the opportunity. They put it on eBay without like a whole lot of getting the word out that they had this, because I mean that was like a really, really good item, and it could have gone for a lot more money than it did. And I found out about it after it had sold, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have tried to help promote it because it was really cool, and they could have gotten themselves a lot more money if they had done a little bit more due diligence in putting the word out that they had this unique item. So, definitely, for other people, I mean, don't use charity as an excuse, like to get a free autograph if you're not actually doing it for charity, right? But if you are legitimately have a charity, you would probably want to, I don't know, send your 501c paperwork, or I don't know, whatever you have that can prove that you're legitimately a charity, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who kind of pretend like they're doing it for charity. But yeah, that's what I would say. Go to talesfromthecollection.com. It's got all the resources you need for contacting celebrities. All right, what's the point of spending a lot of money on an autograph to keep it in a book? Well, I mean, the point for me is, I look through my books, so it's not like I just put it in a book and leave it in a dark closet and never see it again. I'm always going through my books, looking at my autographs. So, I still get plenty of enjoyment out of it. Just the same as if it was on the wall, except, keeping it in a dark place away from the sun and fading just helps me enjoy it longer. So, if you want to display your autographs, like, hey, that's great. And some people kind of find a middle ground where they just like do a very high quality photocopy of the signed photo and then display the photo and keep the actual original in their portfolios or whatever away from the sun. So that way you can kind of get a little bit of the best of both worlds. But I obviously I do display some of my autographs, but for the most part, unless I only have so many walls, right? And I don't want my house to be an autograph museum. I got like thousands of autographs, so there's factors of space. Maybe I don't have enough space for my whole entire autograph collection to put it on the wall. Two, I don't necessarily want every wall coated in autographs. And three, if you're going to be properly framing your autograph, you're talking about an acid-free backing. You're talking about museum glass, and you're talking about an acid-free matting. And that's just if you're into frame, and that's just if you're doing it yourself. That can cost a lot of money for a single autograph. But if you're getting a custom frame, that's like you're talking about hundreds of dollars, and then you got a collection of thousands of autographs. That's a lot of money. So it's really not feasible to frame every single autograph. So hopefully that makes sense. Do you have any of the Stranger Things cast? I've written to them. Stranger Things cast is notoriously fairly hard. I know the actor who plays Papa, I forget his name, but he used to be very good at signing. He was like one of the best signers from the cast, but a few years ago, he kind of stopped signing through the mail. So the only one that I really have that I've obtained is, I mentioned him when someone asked about Marvel, but David Harbour. Oh, and Sean Astin. I have Sean Astin too. Although I have him on a Lord of the Rings and a Goonies shot. I don't have him on a Stranger Things shot, but yeah, I mean, I think that still counts, right? uh, so yeah, Stranger Things. I just finished watching season 4 of the show. I think it was great. So I would love to get some of those autographs in my collection. And then they do convention appearances from time to time. Certainly Millie Bobby Brown has done convention appearances and paid signings as well. And all the other, I think basically all the other cast has done at least a couple conventions or private signings in the past. So even though you might not be able to get them through fan mail, I mean, their autographs are available out there. If that's something that you want to try and collect. I mean, it's a very cool show. All right. Ken Hack asked top 3 favorite through the mail autographs of yours. Someone asked me earlier about Carrie Fisher in a comment outside of this live, and wanted to know if I ever got her. So she's one of my top responses for sure. So I sent her this 5x7, which I had previously sent to her stunt double, Tracy Eden. So this is like a behind-the-scenes photo from Return of the Jedi and the Sarlacc pit scene, and you can see them both just sunbathing. So Tracy Eden signed right up here. She lives in the UK, so this went from the US to the UK, came back to me in the US, and then I had to send it separately to Carrie Fisher. She's in California. I think at this time I'm from California, but now I live in Texas. So I think I went from Texas to California and then back to Texas. So it took a couple trips to get this signed. And you take a little bit of risk, especially when you're sending something that's been signed by somebody else, like a pre-signed item. Got a little bit of value. And whenever you do through the mail, I mean, you're basically playing with the risk that you might not get it back and you might not see it again. So typically, I don't send stuff that's already been signed. But in this case, I did. And I'm glad I did, because I got this iconic shot with both Carrie Fisher and her stunt double, 2 slave ladies in bikinis, and yeah, pretty cool. At some point, I sent it to Beckett to get the autographs authenticated and encapsulated, and here it is. So this would be one of my favorite through the mail autograph successes. Let's see, who would be my other 2? Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is like, one of my favorite actors. Like him and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'd say are probably my favorite actors. So I did get a response from Harrison Ford. I sent him 2 trading cards through the mail, and he signed both of them. And it's quite like an achievement to get Harrison Ford, because typically he sends out pre-printed photos. So it's like just a photo that comes off the printer with a signature on it. It's a photocopy, basically, is what it is. So he usually sends out those, right? But I'd say about 2 or 3 times a year, at best, he responds to fan mail and sends like 2 or 3 responses per year with an actual signature on it. So yeah, I mean, I was one of those lucky people a few years back, and I got an autograph from Harrison Ford. So that would probably be number 2, and then I don't know. It's really hard to pick top autographs, because I have so many that are really cool. But I don't know. Maybe Elizabeth Olsen. I'll throw Elizabeth Olsen out there. I think she'd probably be one of my favorites as well. I sent to her while she was doing filming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That went out. She was doing that in Pinewood Studios in the UK. So I wrote to her on set there, and she responded with a signed photo. So yeah, that was cool. But now I'm thinking of that. Liam Neeson was also really cool too. I don't know. There's a lot of them. So I mean, it's tough. It's really tough to say who's top 3. But certainly in there, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford for sure. And let's see, is there best time to send to actors when they're filming, like towards the beginning or the end of the production? So yeah, so I typically send as close to the beginning of the production as possible. Only, I just want to try and get in there early before they receive too much fan mail at the address, in the hopes that you know, them not having a high volume will let my fan mail get through. So I mean that's generally what I do. I mean I don't know if it's any more or less effective, but definitely don't send before production starts because the actors will not be there. So don't send before production starts and don't send in post production because again the actors won't be there. So anytime during production, you've probably got a good chance of getting it, but it's definitely the beginning or the middle. Sometimes actors do all their scenes and they are done with their shots before the actual production wraps. So I wouldn't want to send towards the end because if it's a big actor, their scenes might already be concluded while the rest of the cast and crew is still over there filming. So to hedge your bets, beginning or middle of the production is best for when you're sending via venue. So, and do I have a favorite movie, and do I have autographs from any of the actors in it? Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm a big Star Wars fan, so and particularly the original trilogy is what I really like. So I would say, and it's hard picking my favorite of the original trilogy, but I typically go with Return of the Jedi, which is not the popular opinion. I know most people say Empire Strikes Back, right? But I'm going to go with Return of the Jedi, and yes, I have to have a 5-inch binder with just Star Wars autographs in it, and many of those are from Return of the Jedi. So yes, I do. Can you show examples of Debbie Reynolds signed Carrie Fisher stuff? I wish I had one to hold up, but yeah, if you just Google Carrie Fisher secretarial autograph, I'm quite sure that something will pop up. So we're I have a Carrie Fisher right here, and I mean you can see hers is quite wide and it's nice and flowy. The ones that her mom Debbie Reynolds would sign, she would get the fan mail. Sometimes her mom would sign the fan mail for her. You can tell the ones that Debbie Reynolds does because they're a little bit longer. They're not quite as wide, and the F's are kind of I don't know, sharper on the Fisher. So they definitely look very distinct. So if you can find just Google Debbie Reynolds or maybe a Carrie Fisher secretarial autograph, I think you could probably tell pretty quickly between an authentic one and one that Debbie, her mom, has signed for her. And so I mean this is basically kind of settled fact that Debbie Reynolds was doing a lot of her fan mail because basically a fan at one point straight up asked her if that's what they do, and she confirmed that that's what she does. So yes, Debbie Reynolds, her mom, did sign some of her fan mail, and thankfully I don't think she was really necessarily trying to replicate her daughter's signature too much. I mean she signed the name Carrie Fisher, but she wasn't replicating the style of the signature too much. So yeah, they're fairly easy to tell apart. If I went on eBay right now and typed Carrie Fisher autograph, I guarantee you a lot of those that her mom signed would pop up. So yeah, you always gotta and a lot of people who got them, they thought that it was from Carrie Fisher, which was the point, and they were happy to get it, which is great. So, but years later, they put it on eBay thinking that they have a real autograph from Carrie Fisher, and really it was signed by her mom. So you gotta be careful, especially with eBay. It's just rampant with fakes. So I would say if you're ever going to eBay, if you don't know the autograph well, it's a good idea to use one of the third-party authenticator services, so Beckett or PSA DNA. They both offer these services called I think Beckett is one of Signature Review and something similar to that, where you basically just you can send them the eBay link, and they'll review the picture on the listing, and they'll make a determination of whether it's likely to pass authentication, not likely to pass, or it's just indeterminable. And basically, they can't say like, yeah, this is 100% authentic without actually seeing it in person, because you can't tell necessarily if it's a facsimile or sometimes like an auto pen necessarily just from a picture. Sometimes you have to really look at the ink in person. So they'll give you a pretty good determination. If it says it's not likely to pass authentication, you pay $10 for the service. And if you're looking at buying like $100 autograph, I'd rather pay $10, find out it's a fake, and be out the $10 than buy a fake autograph and be out $100. So, yeah, I'd say definitely use one of those services if you're shopping on eBay, because it's just too easy to be fooled and buy a fake autograph on there. Yeah, just all right. Just answering questions about fan mail and autographs. Yeah, definitely curious if anyone has had any experience with autograph collecting before, any celebrity encounters that they could share. I always love to hear those stories. I think one of my favorite celebrity encounters was at a convention here in San Antonio when Arnold Schwarzenegger did his first ever comic convention in 2017, I believe it was. I had to pay like an obscene amount of money for the meet and greet, but he signed 2 autographs and I got a photo op out of it, which was really cool. The photo op, I mean, it lasted like 5 seconds. Like, it was like in and out. There's hardly any interaction. I said hello, and that's like about it. So I was really thankful to get the autograph signing with like 2 items, because that, it was a little bit of a slower process, and it gave me some FaceTime with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I had my phone recording the audio of it, and it felt like it was a while, but like going back and listening to the audio, it was like 55 seconds. But I like rapid fire spat out some information about how I was a fan, and how I used to work in California Environmental Protection Agency when he was the governor there, and just spat out a whole bunch of stuff at him. And yeah, it was a cool interaction. I really liked it. All right. And then N Stale says, I've been collecting since the 1980s, which is cool. So I'm curious if you've just done through the mail autograph collecting, or if you've collected in person at conventions, or maybe done street graphing. What kind of collecting have you done? Let's see. Yeah. So for here in San Antonio, we always have a bunch of conventions going on. In the near future, I'm hoping to get the money together for Ewan McGregor. I'd love to see him in person just to say hi. I know he just got done with Star Celebration, and apparently, it was just like in and out for people. Like, he got to say his famous, hello there to the guests, and that was about it. So hopefully when he's in San Antonio, he'll have some more time. Okay. So you've been doing mostly in person and through the mail collecting, predominantly sports, but also celebs, and you're also from San Antonio too. So that's good. Okay. Currently in Corpus Christi. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, don't get to go down to Corpus too often. Unfortunately, they don't really have too many conventions and stuff down there, do they? So I imagine you probably come up to San Antonio, maybe Houston a lot for your conventions. And I mean, we have a lot here in San Antonio and some in Austin. There's a lot in Dallas. I'm actually going to Dallas. I guess it's next week now for Fan Expo Dallas, and I got a media pass there, so I should be doing some live streams from the convention, maybe writing some articles on talesfromthecollection.com covering the guests there, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be my first like actual convention where I have a media pass, and I'm doing coverage in that sense. So it'll be cool. They have like all the hobbits are there, which is I think the headliners. the Hobbits are going to be there, and I know they got some other good guys too. So yeah. Oh, let's see. It's it's the voice actor from The Last of Us who plays Joel. What is his name? No. Troy Baker. Yeah, he's gonna be there. So I'm gonna get his autograph. I got my copy of the game for the PS3, and on the reverse side of the box art, they have like a nice picture of Joel and Ellie on there. So I'm gonna have him sign that. All right, Matthew asks, "What celebrity are you surprised answers fan mail?" Um, you know, anytime you get like one of the big celebrities to answer fan mail, that's always like a big surprise. Like, I mean, and whenever it's like a big celebrity, usually it's like a one-off type thing. Like, you just happen to send it on the right day to the right address, and the right secretary happened to pass your mail along. Like, I saw a recent success from Anna de Armas, who it was sent to her while she was filming. I forget which movie it was, but this was like last year, and like she had never been known to sign before, but like she posted on her Instagram like the letter that she got, and the sender had said like, oh, I've sent you multiple times, and I've never gotten a response. So on her Instagram, on Anna de Armas's Instagram story, she had mentioned that like, oh, sorry, I never got your other letters. Like, I'm sending them to you right now. And this girl was like on some of the Facebook groups um, that I'm in for autograph collecting. So it was cool to see like she posted the Anna Darmus's Instagram story, and then like a few weeks later, she posts the return that she got, where she has the signed photographs that came back to her. So I mean, that's always really cool. On talesfromthecollection.com, my website, I've written a couple stories about Tom Hanks, and he does like really cool fan mail responses. So he's actually like a typewriter enthusiast. So he doesn't handwrite his letters. He does typewritten responses on an old-fashioned typewriter, which is pretty cool. And there was one really cool story that came out like a month or so ago about a typewriter artist in the UK when he uses a typewriter to basically make like ASCII art, which is just like, using the characters on the typewriter to make portraits. And he did a portrait of Tom Hanks, and he sent the portrait to Tom Hanks's production studio, Playtone Productions. And I guess someone passed it on to Tom Hanks, and he signed the portrait, and did some kind of comment about how cool it was, and then sent it back. So Tom Hanks will like kind of surprise you every now and then with a really cool response. Like I have a friend who got a response from him also. She mentioned that she was on the spectrum, and Tom Hanks kind of related it back to his character Forrest Gump, who's also on the spectrum, and kind of gave some really cool words of encouragement and interacted on a very personal level. So yeah, I mean, even like a big celebrity like Tom Hanks, I mean, one of the most beloved actors in Hollywood, can respond to fan mail. So yeah, I mean, while he's not sitting at his desk all day, every day, responding to all the letters that he gets, because you can guarantee he probably gets a stack this big like every day. It's great when they take the time to respond to a few hand-selected ones. I mean, I think while it's not possible to respond to everything, I think it shows that they care when they do select a few to respond to every now and then. I think that's a really, really great gesture. So yeah, Tom Hanks is one of those. And I mean, for most celebrities, you can probably find a few examples of when they're responding. Some just outright are uninterested and don't want to, but a lot of the times, I feel like there's nobody that's really off the table. If you get it to the right address and just have a little bit of luck and do some good research, you can probably get just about anybody. It's a waiting game. It takes time and patience and a lot of effort to do it. definitely. Like I spend a lot of time, not just writing the letters and putting them together, addressing the envelopes, getting the postage on there, signing them, sometimes doing a wax seal on the envelope. That's just like putting it all together. But like the effort that actually goes into like doing the research for, finding out where their movies are going to be filmed, so I can send to the set, or if they have a business, like what kind of business address that I can send to. Just doing all the research that goes into the background, even before I get to sit down and write my letter and send it off, takes a lot of time. So it's not like a quick hobby. Sometimes it can be. If you just want to send one particular celebrity one piece of fan mail, I mean, one and done, you can get it done pretty quick. But I mean, if it's something that you're trying to like build a collection up for, then yeah, it is going to take a lot of time, for sure. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm curious if anyone in here has any autographs or is thinking about getting an autograph. Like, who would you guys want to get an autograph from? Because and there's a lot of people who I want to get autographs from, but like the industry is just it's becoming so popular to get autographs right now that unfortunately a lot of collectors who have been in the hobby for a long time are just getting priced out of it. Like, there's a recent Robert Downey Jr. signing, and his autographs were going, like, to buy an autograph from the signing, you don't even get to meet him. It's not like at a convention where you get to go up to the table, you get to say hi to him, and you get your autograph. On top of that, you're just basically ordering from a website, and it costs like about $1,500. So, that's like a lot out of most people's price range. It's $1,500 for an autograph. It's just unthinkable. So, there's a whole lot that I would like to get. I really want Elon Musk's and Larry Bird's autograph, says Matthew. Elon Musk, I haven't seen him responding to fan mail, but I do know that autograph collectors have tried to get his autograph at like events, places where he's appearing, and he has been known to sign. So his autographs are out there. Like, he can definitely get one on the secondary market from a street grapher. And Larry Bird, I'm not too sure about his signing habits off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, definitely a legendary player there would be cool to have in your collection. And see, Charlie asked, what's the rarest autograph that I have? And it's a little bit difficult to answer, because I mean, I have plenty of like rare autographs that are not necessarily, expensive or valuable. Like, I definitely have stuff that is probably the only example of something signed by it. So like I have, some like older books that might not be, people might not have other examples signed by, stuff like that, like from artists or authors, that kind of thing. So those are certainly rare, but wouldn't necessarily cost a whole lot of money. Like, certainly a Robert Downey Jr. autograph is way more expensive, but it's not necessarily, more rare than some of the stuff that I have. So, I guess it depends on kind of what you mean by rare exactly. If you're thinking about expensive, it's probably like Harrison Ford. I think that's probably most expensive autograph. I have a couple of Harrison Fords, but I have an 8x10 by him, which at the time I paid $700 for, but that was many years ago. It'd probably be like, I think his cost is now closer to $1,200 for a private signing. So that's probably the most expensive one I have. I have several like Arnold Schwarzenegger autographs, but he can go for a good amount as well. And then I have like a lot of kind of cast signed pieces, so like with more than one autograph on the same poster. So I mean, that as a whole, that makes it like more rare, but the individual signatures themselves might not be necessarily so rare, but when you combine them, they can make unique pieces for sure. Let's see, have I written to any Rebels or Clone Wars actors? Let's see. Well, so Ashley Eckstein and Clone Wars. Ashley Eckstein and Matthew Lanter used to be like during the first season of the show. They both were very good at signing through the mail. Super reliable. Would sign multiple pieces for everybody who asked. And during that time, I wish I had my binder with me. I did get a lot of signatures from like the first season of the show, because at that time a lot of people were signing them. As the show kind of became more popular and as it picked up popularity, a lot of the signings became hard to get. Now, certainly Ashley Eckstein, her autograph isn't hard to get because she does conventions. She just did Star Wars Celebration last week. She's doing conventions all the time. You can get her autograph through she's got that clothing brand, her Universe. She'll do signed stuff through there all the time. So her autograph is still available, but getting it for free through the mail when you're writing her fan mail, that's not really an option anymore for her. And I've definitely gotten some of the other cast members for sure. And I've gotten David Filoni before, which is really one of my more favorite successes. So that's worth a mention for sure. Reagan says, "Hello, how are you? I'm doing great, thank you. I'm done with work, so I am very good. Happy to not be at work right now." And kids are still in daycare, so I've got to pick them up pretty soon. But no kids to watch and off of work. That makes me happy. Good to have a little break sometimes. I really wish I could have gone to Celebration. It would have been pretty cool to see a lot of the actors there, and I know they Official Picks did the guest list, and they did all the arranging for the guests. I know there was a lot of actors who wanted to be there, requested to, but weren't allowed to come. And I know there was a bunch of empty space on the floor, so it would have been cool to see even more guests there. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to go this year. However, 2023, I know they announced that it's going to be in London, so I did go ahead and get my hotel room reserved. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go. If not, I'll just get it refunded, but I want to get that done before the prices go up for Star Wars Celebration 2023. I've been to London before. It's okay. I don't think I'll be staying there for too long after the convention. I think I'll go to the convention and then maybe I've never been to France. I'd love to go to France, so I'll just head south to France after that. I think Star Wars Celebration is a really cool opportunity to meet some of those Star Wars guests. A badass shirt. It says Redheaded Stranger 87. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Actually, I tie-dyed this myself, so definitely appreciate that. Actually, this is a Technic shirt. I actually had a little stain on there, so I was like, rather than throwing out the shirt, I had the tie-dyes out. I decided to tie-dye the shirt and save it, and now it's a tie-dyed shirt. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Currently, let's see, who do I have on my list to send to for upcoming productions? What is starting to film? Let me see. Let me bring up some of the upcoming production that's going to be coming up this month. I know there's a lot for May. For June rather. So Ironheart is going to be starting production on June 20th. So I'll be sending to Dominic Thorne, Also in June, Beetlejuice 2 will start production. So Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton will both be reprising their roles for that one. Lioness, starring Zoe Saldana, will be in June. Ariana Grande is going to be in a film. They're doing Wicked, which is going to be a two-part movie. So I'll be writing to her. The second season of Loki is filming. So I have requests out to Tom Hiddleston and Sophia DiMartino also. So they're going to be filming in Georgia and in the UK. I'm like running very low on British postage right now, so I think I'm only sending to Georgia. I did order some more stamps from the UK, so maybe I can get some requests out there as well. Also this month, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, that's going to start filming again. So I'll be writing to some of those actors. Ryan Reynolds has a movie in July called Imaginary Friends that's going to be filming. I'll be writing to him there. Charlize Theron doing The Old Guard Chapter 2 in July. Phoebe Waller-Bridge in July. Steve Carell in July for Imaginary Friends. Steven Spielberg going to be doing, season 3, I guess, of Halo. So he's doing the Halo series. That's also in July. Dune's going to be kicking off again for part 2. Part 2 of Dune's going to be in July also. So there's there's a whole bunch of productions. I kind of keep track of when movies are going to start filming. And try and time right about when they're going to start filming to send my letters there. So I mean, just that part, the whole researching. They call it via venue when you send to a film set or whatever temporary address that the actor will be appearing at. Just doing the via venue research to find those addresses, that takes up a lot of time. But for some of these bigger celebrities, that's really your best shot at getting a response. If you just go through their agency, a lot of the time the odds are fairly slim that they're going to pass it on. So you have to get them all on the movie set a lot of the time. So I mean, tell me guys, anyone that you guys are trying to write to or would like to write fan mail to. I'm always interested to know who you guys are thinking about writing. I mean, with the Johnny Depp trial right now, everybody's wanting to write Johnny Depp. So he has an agency address where they do accept his fan mail. If you're after an autograph, a lot of the times what you're going to get back is going to be like an auto pen. But if you're just sending him fan mail, you want to send some words of encouragement, whatever, you might get a secretary to pass his mail on. You never know. So he's a good one to write to, and everyone's thinking about Johnny Depp right now. I'm going to try and write to Terry Gilliam soon. Hey, cool. Let's see. I use Star Tiger, which is like an autograph database. Let's see, Terry Gilliam. Just wants me to sign in, of course. Let me look him up for you. See, it looks like he's does a lot of fan mail responses actually. So he would be a good one to write to. Out of looks like he's responded to 69 requests with 19 pending and only 3 returned to sender. So I mean, it looks like he has a very high success rate. And the address that most people are using is his agency address, which is Casaroto, Ramsey, and Associates Limited. So look up there. It's a UK-based agency. I would write to him there because that seems to be where he's signing from. And like I said, he has a lot of responses. And the most recent one was just the 27th of last month, and the turnaround time for that was 77 days. And somebody sent him 2 DVDs and a postcard and got all 3 of them back signed. So yeah, you picked a really good one to send to. Yeah, I would do that for sure. Yeah. Anyone else thinking about sending some fan mail? I got a favorite celebrity that they'd like to send out to. Anyone who did a role that's significant or meaningful to them. Could be doesn't have to be celebrities either. Could be any kind of it could be politicians, artists, any kind of somebody who made history doing something. Athletes, of course, a big group of people that people want to get autographs from. It's fun just to reach out to people. Aside from just like doing fan mail for collecting autographs, one of my favorite things to do is do a little Q&A. So I'll send with my fan mail, I'll send a questionnaire with maybe 4 or 5 questions asking them about some of their life experiences, getting a little bit of deeper knowledge on some of their big achievements, and you can get some like really interesting responses. So like I'm into video games a lot, so I'll write some of like the older like developers who worked on Atari games, like for the Atari 2600. Like back in the day, those Atari games used to be one single developer who would be working on these games. So it's like now you sit through a game and the credits go on for like 30 minutes, but I mean the credits would have been just one name back then. And you can pick their brain a little bit about how the process of making the game was, what their what some of their inspirations were, that kind of thing. So yeah, and like I think one of the first people that I ever like sent a Q&A to was Kenny Baker, who plays R2-D2 in Star Wars, of course. So I think I didn't ask him anything too insightful. Probably like what was it like being inside the droid, that kind of stuff. I think back then I wasn't too insightful with my questions, but now I try and like ask stuff that's like can't easily be Googled, or just try and dig a little deeper, get some kind of unique information from people as best I can. And a lot of times I'll write up little articles on talesfromthecollection.com featuring some of their responses so I can share them out with people. So I definitely encourage people to check out the website. I got some really cool fan mail and autograph stories on there. I always keep updating it with new stories and new content. So definitely check out the website for sure. All right. Is there a way to send Brian Donnelly? He makes the cause art. Well, I'll check Star Tiger first. Sometimes they do have artists on there. Yeah, it looks like there's an entry for here, but it's just directing me to his website. So I'm going to check out his website. So if you ever want to find out like, hey, does this person sign? Probably best just do a Google search for the name. So for artists, like a lot of the times, just like in Brian's case here, they do have a contact tab, and there's some email addresses here. So it's perfectly acceptable if you want to get his autograph. Just send him an email. I guess it's pretty much that simple. Send him an email and say, hey, I have like an art print or whatever it is that you want to get signed. Ask him if he'll sign it for you. And I think you'd be surprised at how many people are perfectly happy to say, yeah, go ahead and send it, and they'll sign it. Like I contact artists all the time. It could be from comic books or Magic the Gathering cards or whatever, illustrated books, anything like that. A lot of the times, sometimes they have their information directly on the website for where you can send stuff. Sometimes you just have to, reach out a little bit and see if that's okay. Yeah, no problem. Like for me, like I really like artists a lot. I like contacting them, and some of the best returns that I have are from artists, because not only will they sign, but sometimes if you're lucky, they will also do a sketch for you. So I've gotten some like really incredible sketches in my collection from artists, which is those are some of my favorite successes. And in particular, aside from Magic cards, I got a lot of signed Magic cards, but I I've mentioned a couple times I'm into Star Wars for sure, and there's a particular set of Star Wars cards called Star Wars Galaxy, and they're all illustrated. So each set has probably about 150 cards in it, with each card features a different illustration, sometimes two, with one on the front, one on the back, and a lot of really incredibly iconic and talented artists have done Star Wars out, like Star Wars art, licensed Star Wars art over the years, and they'll use licensed art, like stuff that was used in a poster or promoted products, that kind of stuff. They'll feature on the card, or they have ones that they commission brand new art for. But it's a whole lot of fun just to take these cards, look on the back of the card, see who did the art, and then just look them up on their website or wherever and reach out to them. Sometimes you can just find their address directly and just send them the card directly and ask them to sign. Sometimes you got to make contact via email first, but it's been a lot of fun, kind of building the set of signed cards. And now I can just look through the binder. I keep them in the 9-pocket binder pages, and just look through the pages, see all the signatures on these cards, and it makes them look really cool, and it's a lot of fun looking at them. So yeah, I think talking to artists and kind of building those relationships has been some of my most favorite parts of the hobby. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone else have anyone that they're trying to write to? I can see if I can look them up for you guys and give you some direction on how best to write and send some fan mail to any celebrities, artists. Sometimes I like to do historical people too. Obviously, it has to be not too historical. They have to be living still. But Tim Berners-Lee, who was one of the founders of people who laid down the framework for the internet. Obviously, without him, wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. So people like that, technology pioneers, innovators, that kind of thing. I like to reach out to them. So that's another fun part of the hobby. It's not all about necessarily big Hollywood movie stars, which those are some of my favorite, but there's a whole big broader spectrum to the through the mail autograph collecting hobby. I think one that I haven't mentioned yet is even veterans, like World War II veterans. There's a big community of people who collect World War II autographs, and other people as well, military guys, people who have received the Medal of Honor, for example. Some people will have a collection focused on Medal of Honor recipients, that kind of thing. Okay, I don't know anything about John C. Reilly. Not off the top of my head, but let me see what we can find out. All right, so he was in Days of Thunder, Chicago, Gangs of New York, and he's represented by William Morris Endeavor WME Entertainment. Yeah, it looks like he is not the greatest with his fan mail responses. I only see, there's one in here. So the last response was in 2005, and this was in 2005, and okay, so this was via venue. Looks like he was on Broadway at that point, and the user that submitted this response so that he was on the stage door with a photo and a playbill, and John C. Reilly signed the photo and did not sign the playbill. So since that was in person via venue, I guess that would leave his through the mail response rate as a 0. So seems like he's a tough guy to get, unfortunately. Sorry. Yeah. Anyone else I can pull up for you guys? There's a few free resources for finding addresses, but most of the really good ones you have to pay for. And I subscribe to them all. So I mean, I've already sunk the money into this kind of stuff. So if I can help you guys out with a little bit of information, do some research for you, I'm happy to do so. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. Yeah. But like, even though it is a paid service, Star Tiger is, I mean, it's pretty darn affordable. I think it's like maybe $5 a month or something. And aside from having the database, on the homepage, there's like the sidebar where they have people, like whenever somebody reports that they got a return from somebody, like they got a response, um, they can enter it into the database. So there's a lot of like user generated feedback on here, and that's like one of my favorite parts of the website. Is just if I can make it in there daily, that's great. Usually I can, but like sometimes maybe once a week I'll go in and see kind of who's responding lately, like who's been actively reading their fan mail and writing back. And that's one of the best ways to kind of ensure that you're going to get a response, is to see like who's actually going through fan mail right now, who's responding. For me, I've been doing this for a long time, so like a lot of the low hanging fruit because has already been picked kind of for me. So like a lot of the easier people who I would want to get, I've probably already written to them. So that's a big reason why I'm going for like the via venue, like writing them at a movie set or something like that. Trying to get these the harder to get, more elusive people. But I mean, there's tons of people out there who are reliably, consistently responding to fan mail, just doing tons of it. So, some people complain that maybe the hobby is dead, but it is by no means dead. It's very alive and well. But it just depends. Like you got to do it on a case by case, individual basis. Like, while an individual person might not sign anymore, just because one person isn't signing, there's 100 others that still are. So, while you might not get the exact person that you want, I can guarantee you there's somebody that you're interested in, somebody that you would find worthwhile writing, that is still responding to fan mail to this day, that you can reach out to and contact and have a pretty cool experience with. So, yeah. All right. All right, John Goodman or Steve Buscemi? Let's bring him up. Let's start with John Goodman. Let's see what they're. All right. It looks like he's currently filming The Righteous Gemstone, season 3 of that show. So you could try sending him there. Looks like there's only one person who's tried sending there, and no responses yet. The one person has theirs still pending. But if you wanted to write to them, it would be via Mixed Bag Productions LLC, and you could probably just Google that and find the address. But if you have something to write with, it's 2068 Sam Rittenberg Boulevard in Charleston, South Carolina. So I would try writing there. I think via venue is the best way to go. But for John Goodman, looks like he has 82 responses logged on Star Tiger of people who have gotten a response from him. He has 98 that are pending, and 13 that got a return to sender. And these, this is not all of one address. Like, he has multiple addresses in here, so those statistics are spread out against multiple addresses. But it looks like he's responding from Shafran PR, SHAFRAN PR. So yeah, that might be a good address to write to. It looks like he's getting some responses from there. And then who else were we talking about? Steve Buscemi. What is he looking like? Looks like he's got a kind of like split right down the middle with responses. So he's got 99 people who've had a response from him, 78 people who have a letter that's still outstanding, and 12 people who got a return to sender. Let me see. So if you write to him via the Altman, Greenfield, and Silvaggi, that's his agency, Altman, Greenfield, and Silvaggi. It's located in New York at 200 Park Avenue South, 8th floor. Somebody just got a response from him. Well, I won't say just, but last July was the last time someone got a response from him. So, and it took. He sent it out in 2016 and got it back in 2021. So it's a long wait. But just because one person had a really long wait doesn't mean you will. I've seen other people have. This guy had a 224-day wait, so less than a year. Sometimes response times vary wildly, but sometimes they can take a really long time, and that's just how it is. You can't give up hope on these unless you get a return to sender. So even though your letter might be outstanding for a year, 2 years, 3 years, typically that's not the case. But I mean, it's been known to happen certainly. So don't ever give up on your letters; they might come back still. All right. Well, I've been going on here for about an hour-ish, and my voice is getting a little sore, so I think I'm gonna call it quits here. But definitely appreciate everybody who was watching. If you guys ever get any kind of responses, definitely tag me in a video or let me know in a comment. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.